दोस्तों, ये थी हमारे देश की नारियां जो अपनी प्रतिभा और समाज में अपने योगदान के कारण जानी जाती हैं. These are the women who have made a mark in their own fields and have been a great source of inspiration for everyone in this lovely country of ours. भाई, अगर हम आज के भारत पे एक नजर डालें तो सामने नारी की प्रगति और उन्नति की छवि साफ नजर आती है. खुशी खुशी लड़कियां लड़कों के कंधे से कंधा मिला के आगे बढ़ रही हैं. So many bright faces glowing with a promising future ahead. पर दोस्तों, इस ऊपरी रोशनी के पीछे क्या कहीं अंधेरा छुपा हुआ है? Is this the real scenario? Welcome to this the most unique show on Indian television, Vivekananda Answers. मैं हूं आपका दोस्त and host जयंत कृपलानी, and today we have with us revered Swami Purnatmananda ji, Secretary Ramakrishna Mission, Swami Vivekananda's Ancestral House and Cultural Center, and Mrs. Shamashri Sen, a social activist who is running a public relations company. Welcome to the show, both of you. And welcome my delightful audience and my cross-examiners. But before you start that, let me ask you a question. What do you think about the current situation of Indian women?
आज भी हम रात को 10 बजे निकलने से पहले सोचते हैं. पेरेंट्स भी 2 बार सोचते हैं कि इन्हें भेजा जाए कि नहीं जाए. उसी जगह लड़के रात को 10, 11, 12, उनका कोई फिक्सेशन नहीं है टाइम का कि वो कभी भी आ जा सकते हैं. इसीलिए मेरा यही सवाल है कि हम क्यों नहीं निकल सकते हैं रात को? आप क्यों नहीं निकल सकती हैं रात को?
Whereas men can do it freely and well.
I will think professionally भी ऐसा कुछ issues होता है. Like suppose any one of us are going for an interview and we come across questions like why should we hire you and not a guy? Because when we hire a guy, we don't have to face problems like maternity leaves or like you get married and you go somewhere else with your husband, relocations. So it's always like this, like when a guy is getting married to a girl, we hardly find a guy leaving the job for the girl's profession. But we will always find a girl leaving her own job for the guy's profession.
Let's take this one question at a time. Kahiye?
And one more thing, talking about job, the credibility of the girl is taken by the boss. Like the reward which a girl should get is taken up by the boss. Okay. Not just with girls, it happens with boys also.
Okay.
But being a woman, they think they can suppress us more.
अच्छा, तो एक एक करके हम ये सब सवालों की जवाब देते हैं. एक तो है about the night women don't feel safe outdoors at night. One is that they don't feel equal in a job situation, and one is amongst other things, and one is that वो boss जो हैं वो सब credit ले लेते हैं जब और काम ये कर रहे हैं और boss credit ले रहे हैं. But the boss, is he a male or a female?
A male.
Male boss, huh? So I am clarifying. The male boss takes all the credit. What would you like to say about that?
As far as going out at night and staying out at night beyond certain hours, yes, I know some of our political leaders have been crying out loud that girls should not be out late at night. It's because, not because of any, I don't think the parents are worried about any stigmas. They are only worried whether you will get conveyance back home in time, whether you will be safe, because some men are doing some bad stuff. So we need to educate the men before we can, but I don't think that is a reason for you not to stay out if you have to work a later shift or something. If you are getting the security of transport, or if you're going out with friends who are reliable, then I think that's all right.
अच्छा, वो नाइट शिफ्ट की बात हम करते हैं. काम करने की नाइट शिफ्ट जो है, आपने कह रहे हैं अगर आपको रिलायबल ना, जो हम एम्प्लॉयर्स हैं, हाँ, वो हम किसी को कॉन्ट्रैक्ट देते हैं गाड़ी का कि आप हमारी महिलाएं जो हैं एम्प्लॉयज, what about that? Supposing they misbehave?
वही तो, that is the problem. वही problem है, because usually it's the drivers who are misbehaving with the ladies or doing something bad. So the employers need to hire a very reliable company. They need to check the bona fides, not fly-by-night people.
तो समस्याएं हैं 10 बजे के बाद निकलने की, but we have to find ways. I think it's a constant process. It's not something that overnight is going to happen. Frankly, अगर आप मुझसे पूछें तो कुछ शहर हैं इस देश में, Delhi being a case in point, where even I feel quite scared going out after 10 o'clock at night. There are very odd things can happen to men also over there. Now, what she was saying about the employment space.
The point is that if the employer is not going to employ a lady because she needs maternity leave, then they don't know the rules of this country, because our constitution guarantees that. So you can always take that up in a different way. And I think nowadays.
So in a different way, माने अगर इनके साथ ऐसा कुछ हुआ, तो वो आके she can sue the company
yes,
involved.
She can take legal.
तो हमारी constitution है वो guarantee करती है कि अगर आप नौकरी करें उनके पास तो आपको maternity मिली. They cannot not give you a job because you're a woman.
Yes. There can be no discrimination between a man and a woman. If you're qualified for a job, you get the job. Problem in this country is that we have such a large population, and because some people are still very biased about taking women because they have conservative mindsets, that is why this happens. But I think we need to break that now.
Okay, and this young lady, her credit is being taken by her boss. How about that? Just because she's a woman.
You should protest.
It just doesn't happen with us only. It happens with boys also. Oh. Their credit is also taken, but the woman is more pressurized to, sit back, and, the whole thing is taken by the boss and, forwarded it.
So आप कह रहे हैं कि दोनों? हाँ, तो at least एक जगह में तो equality है कि बॉस दोनों की क्रेडिट ले रहा है. महाराज जी, मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ, what was Swamiji's concept of ideal womanhood?
You see, Swamiji had a great ideal of womanhood, and he used to say that it is woman that is the custodian of our heritage, our culture. And Swamiji used to say that when you teach a boy, you teach a person, but when you teach a girl, you teach a family. You see, because the girl, when she will become a woman, she will lead a family. And upon her, the whole thing depends. The safety, security, the glory, the dignity of the family, everything depends upon the woman. That's why motherhood in India has been estimated as the highest ideal of woman.
But there are two things over here I have to ask you. You've triggered off a thought process here. If the woman of the house is the custodian of the culture and the heritage of this country, over a period, the heritage is the heritage, it doesn't change, that's marvelous. But through the centuries, the cultures have been changing. Okay, they're not static, a culture is not static. Now, what does the woman do in that case?
You see, culture can change, it is a changing phenomenon, but ideal cannot change.
But values can.
Values also cannot change. Social values can change, but the eternal values never change. They remain the same.
Swamiji, you were talking about eternal values like honesty, truth, integrity, love. These are eternal values.
Peace.
Peace, right. Can I retain these values in a social space where social values have changed? Are the new changing social values going to impinge on these eternal values in India?
Yes, that may pose some problems, but we must stick to our values.
Acha. And this applies for both women and men?
Yes. There is no discrimination.
There is no discrimination.
No, it's a universal phenomenon.
Right, but Shamashri, society की एक बड़ी problem है, eternally नहीं, लेकिन societal values में, कि ये discrimination है. We do discriminate between men and women. We underestimate our women. I'm not going to sound nice by saying this, but we do underestimate our women. अब इसके बारे में आप क्या बोलना चाहती हैं?
It is the truth. It happens.
तो अब कहाँ जाएं हम वहाँ से? Where do we go from here?
We need to change our, since times are changing. But I'd like to give one example.
हाँ, कहिए.
That when we got our constitution in 1950, Indian women had the same right to franchise as the men. Whereas the so-called very, very advanced Western nation of United States of America, it took very long to give franchise to the women. But they have also changed, which means change is always possible. We just have to strive for that change. So this discrimination that is there, until and unless we educate the people to get that discrimination out of their mindsets, it's going to remain. But if we are successful in instilling the ideas of equality of man and women, which Swamiji had expounded, then we are going to probably bring that change when there will not be discrimination.
What about honor killings? आजकल के ज़माने में आपने तो ऑनर किलिंग सब लोग लगे हुए हैं, क्या हमारी महिलाएं ने और कहीं जाके शादी की, ये ऑनर की बात है, उड़ा दो उनको. अब कहाँ है, अब कहाँ से हम एजुकेशन शुरू करें? और ये is this honor, is there another paper trail to the honor killing? Is it a financial thing which they call honor, or but you know?
If you really look at it, most of the discrimination has to do with economy. Everything has to do with property, starting with something as early as sati. Why were women thrown into the funeral pyre? Because the male relatives wanted that property. So same way, the honor killings also, in the name of keeping the prestige and honor of the family, they are not,
actually it's property and money related, the whole thing.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a tricky one. It doesn't answer any of our, I mean, these questions have been answered, but I think in our society, at least in our peer group, we can address these issues, but the minute it becomes a money trail, it becomes a little bit of a problem. So now, women by and large, for property or for money, or because of their physical weaknesses, okay, are trampled upon in this country. I've met very strong women, by the way, so I use the word physical weaknesses a little inadvisedly. But is there any other reason that women are treated in this abominable way, is the only way to describe this?
As I told you, my basic feeling is lack of education, lack of awareness, and pampering, because it is a hereditary thing for the male of the family, the male child of the family, to be given the better things in life, because the girl in any case is going to somebody else's house to be their slave. So as long as that mental, condition remains in our society, we're not going to change. So we have to shake them out of that old idea. If the people in India can celebrate the fact that Mary Kom is a great sportswoman who can beat people out of their, whatevers, then it's time that they agreed that the daughters in their house are strong enough to go out and work, strong enough to take their own decisions whether they want to marry a particular boy that they have chosen. Because most of the time they choose all the wrong people.
Anybody has a question?
Sir, I have heard from a nurse that every 2 or 3 days a lady get admitted as because they are eitherly tortured, burned or beaten very badly. So isn't there any respect or love for women in today's society?
So every 2 or 3 days the same woman gets admitted to hospital, she's either been beaten, burnt or tortured. Respect. Don't we respect our women, Shamashiji? What do you think?
We can't generalize. There is love and respect, but there is also hatred. That's there. And probably in this lady's case where she's getting battered, there can be 2 reasons. One, as our host has said, it's financial or economic, where probably there's a dowry demand, or constantly asking the girl's family for money, or the girl might be earning and still not giving everything to the husband. Because in most cases, when especially the women who come to work in our houses, their husbands are drunkards. They do nothing but steal all their money, which they work very hard to earn. So it could be that, or it could be aberration on the part of the husband. There are people who get so annoyed at times that for the outside world, they seem very normal, very good people, but their anger gets the better of them, and they've got away with it so far.
Maharaji, do you have anything to add to this?
No, she's fully correct.
See, folks, I hope you have understood that in terms of women development, our nation needs to be more sensitive, more concerned. देखिए, इस हालत में ये कतई संभव नहीं है कि हमारा देश आगे बढ़ पाए, जैसे कि उसे बढ़ना चाहिए। ना महाराज जी, हम आपसे जानना चाहेंगे, how do you connect Swamiji's central message of manifestation of divinity in man with the issue of women's empowerment?
You see, there is no such thing as divinity of woman or divinity of man. Divinity is a universal phenomenon and also an eternal phenomenon. So when Swamiji says that the manifestation of divinity, that is the most important thing for bringing out the best out of a man or a woman, then Swamiji wants to emphasize these things, is bring out this divinity, which is the message of Vedanta. Vedanta tells that bring out the divinity which is within you and which you are carrying since you are born. That is your inherent property or eternal property. So Swamiji gave a reply to Margaret Elizabeth Noble during their first acquaintance in London in 1895. Sister Nivedita, at that time Miss Margaret Elizabeth Noble, put a question to Swamiji. Swamiji, what is the central message that you are preaching? Can you give me that central message in a few words? Swamiji replied, yes, I can give that. My ideal indeed can be put into a few words, and that is to preach unto mankind its divinity and how to make it manifest in every moment of life. That was the message Swamiji gave. So Swamiji wanted that this should be applied in our life. Swamiji says apply it into your philosophy, into the field of your education, in the field of your agriculture, in the field of your household, everywhere, so on and so forth, and see what a good harvest it gives to you. So Swamiji's idea is to bring the best thing from a man or from a woman, and he says this is the governing principle, the key principle to bring the divinity in man. If the divinity of man is just manifested, then he or she can do anything and everything. There will be no problem for him or her. There is no such divinity of man or woman. I have already told. That is the answer Swamiji gives.
Swamiji, one question for you. Swami Vivekananda has said that Indian women's ideals are Sita, Savitri and Damayanti. Now, is it not outdated in today's context?
Yes. Many will say that this is outdated and not at all relevant for today's situation. But to Vivekananda, Sita, Savitri and Damayanti were not three individual women. They were three concepts of ideal womanhood in so far as India is concerned. Swamiji, when said that Sita, Savitri and Damayanti are the ideal of Indian womanhood, then he thought that Sita is not that Sita of whom we know that always an abiding wife, always following her husband, whatever he says. No, not like that. Sita was a very fearless lady. When she was taken by Ravana in Lanka, and Ravana gave her many temptations, at last he said that unless you accept me, I will finish you. Then Sita would, no, I will never accept you. You are a butcher, you are an animal, I don't accept you. So to the face of Ravana, to tell like this was not a matter of joke. So she was eternally and always very fearless. And that's why she was able to put all these things to Ravana himself. And Savitri was a lady with strong determination. That's why she persuaded the god of death to give life to her husband. And Damayanti was a lady who had strong presence of mind. So Swamiji wanted that these things to be combined and blended and assimilated in the womanhood of India. So they are representing three concepts. Sita is fearlessness, and Savitri strong determination, and Damayanti strong presence of mind. Swamiji expected that if these things are blended and combined in our woman,
perfect,
in Indian woman, then it will be a perfect combination and harmonization. So that's why it was ideal of womanhood that Swamiji dreamt of.
जैसे प्रॉब्लम्स हैं वैसे उससे डट के मुकाबला करने की ताकत भी है. If today's women imbibe those three qualities of Sita, Savitri and Damayanti that Swamiji was talking about, fearlessness, determination and presence of mind, then all this oppression against women might have a chance to disappear. Shukriya Maharaj ji, Shukriya Shamushri ji for being with us, and thank you my delightful young friend for making this program a joyous occasion yet again. मैं जयंत कृपलानी आज आप सबसे अनुमति चाहता हूं. अगले हफ्ते फिर लौटेंगे इसी विषय पर और भी जानकारी लेकर. तब तक हे स्टे इंस्पायर्ड. गुड डे. नमस्कार.
सारी शक्ति विवेकानंद की वाणी और